G'day and welcome to another video. In today's lesson we will learn how to make the brick stitch bag. This bag can be made to any size. It is very easy to adjust the size of the bag. This is only a small one, but it is very easy to adjust the length and also the width. The handles can be made different. I show you how to do 2 drawstrings and also 1. But there will be links below in the video description box, and that will give you links to other bag handles if you wanted to change it up to suit your style. So let's get started on the lesson. For our supplies, we're going to need scrap yarn. As you can see, some of these aren't full balls, some of them are. That one's pretty full, but I'm just using some scrap yarn in various colours. You're going to need, I'm actually using 2 strands of yarn at the same time. Now this is 8 ply, which is equivalent to about a sports weight yarn, or DK in the double knit yarn in the UK, but I'm using 2 strands at once. So it normally recommends about a 4mm hook, which is about a size G, but because I've got 2 strands of yarn, I'm using a 6.5mm or a K size hook. You can use 2 strands of worsted weight yarn if you like to. It will give you a really nice thick bag with the worsted weight. It'll be a lot thicker than what this is. And what we need to do is start with the hat pattern. Sorry, had a bit of a blank there. Just starting with the hat pattern. So any basic crown, I will leave a link to the description box below, and that will give you my one with the almost invisible seam. And I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and of course this is not going to be very big. As you can see, it's not very much bigger than my hand, palm of my hand. So this is only going to be a reasonably small bag, but the more increased rounds that you do, the bigger that your bag's going to be, obviously. So it's up to you. You can make a really big bag or you can make a small bag. And also there's different handle options that we can use. I'll put some links below to some mesh summer bags that have different styles of handles, but this one is going to be different to that again, so it'll give you a few options. So you're going to need a pair of scissors as usual, a yarn needle to sew in your ends, your crochet hook and your yarn. You don't have to use 2 strands at once if you don't want to, it's completely up to you. I just thought I would try and bust some stash, and I have plenty to bust. So let's carry on with the next bit. So I've used yellow for the base of my bag, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and that has got me, there's an increase there, then there's 2 double crochets by themselves, and then an increase. So that's how many increases I've got, up to where there's 2 in between. But of course, like I said, you can use as many rows as you like. Now if you've used a different hat base pattern to what I have suggested, as long as the amount of stitches around the outside can be divided by 2, then we're good to go. So grabbing our hook, and I'm going to use a different colour. I will just wanted a plain base, so I'm going to grab the next colour. I think pink will look pretty cool. So you could use this style for gift bags, and of course if you wanted to add the other style, different style handles to this one, we can use them for shopping bags and all sorts of things. So to join your different colour in, you go under the stitch. Now because we've got 2 strands of yarn, you're going to have two loops here, which is counted as 1, and then 2 loops at the back there. You can see them, yep, and that's counted as 1 as well, because your 2 strands are counted as the 1 strand. So to join it in, do a chain, just pull down on the short piece at the back to secure that down. And this pattern is made up of a double crochet and a chain 1, so it's pretty easy, but it's where you put your double crochet is how it gives it that cool pattern. So we're going to chain 4, so the first 3 is for our first double crochet, and the next chain is counted for the chain 1. We're going to skip 1 and then work a double crochet in the next stitch. So that's yarning over, going into the next stitch, chain 1, we're going to skip a stitch and double crochet in the next. chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. And we're going to repeat this all the way around. So chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. So it's easy as that. So this whole pattern is double crochet chain 1 for the brick stitch pattern. So we're going to continue all the way around until we get back to the beginning. So you've got your double crochet chain 1, so I've just done a chain 1, and then we're going to join. Now because we've got the chain 1, we're going to drop chain, what are we going to do? We're going to join into the third chain. 1, 2, 3. Hang on a second, that's come loose, so that's not even counted as 1. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then our fourth chain is up there for our chain 1. We're going to join into the third chain with a slip stitch. Now you can change colours as many times as you want. I'm going to work 2 rows of each colour, so I'm going to keep the pink attached. What we want to do is slip stitch over into that space. So putting the hook into that space there, we're going to make a slip stitch. Now this is where the fun starts. We're going to double crochet, but we're going to double crochet into the skip stitch down here. Okay, so wrap your yarn, go into that skip stitch and work a double crochet. So your yarn is going to be wrapping around this row that's here, but that's fine, that's what it's supposed to do. And this first double crochet is always tricky for me. The loops always fall off my hook. Okay, so now we're going to chain 1, because the whole pattern is double crochet chain 1, but it's just where we're putting our stitch. So we've done our chain 1, and then the next skip stitch, so it's here, because this row we've worked into that stitch. So we're going to work a double crochet in there. Chain 1, find the next skip stitch, which is over here, work a double crochet into there, chain 1, next skip stitch, double crochet into there. So if you got that one, so it's double crochet chain 1 still, except we're just putting that stitch in a different spot. Because normally you'd sort of work into here or you'd work into that space, but this time we're working down into that skip stitch. So chain 1 and going into there. Okay, so we're going to repeat that all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the beginning of the row. So we're going to come around, and you'll know when you finish because the next skip stitch already has a stitch in there. So I've chained 1 up here, and we're going to join into the top of the double crochet, making sure we've got all the loops. No, there's one missing. There we go. So we're going to join that with a slip stitch, and I'm going to change colour, so I'm going to cut that off. Then we're going to just finish off that colour. Now when we join the new colour in, from now on the rows still work double crochet chain 1, but we're putting our double crochet in a different spot. Now the easiest way to remember is always work to the left of the double crochet that is on that previous row. So the left is that direction. Now what we do is we skip this hole, so we're skipping that chain 1 space from that previous row, and we're working down. See how the double crochet is here? We're working to the side of that, to the left hand side, and that is the stitch on the row below that. We're going in between that stitch and that stitch there into here. Now you can't actually see the hole, but once you put your hook in there, so you're going to put your hook in there, and there's actually a chain 1 space. So if we move this stitch over, there is actually a chain 1 space. So that was your double crochet, and that's your chain 1 here. Now that, see that hole there? That is your chain 1 space. So does that make sense? So if we're going over to this next one, that is our double crochet from the row below. We want to work to the left, so it's in between this stitch and that stitch there. And if you're like mine, you've got like a little bobble, it kind of sticks out. Can you see? I don't know if you can see that. See how these ones here kind of stick out? So that's your bobbly kind of sticky outy bit, and that's your double crochet. You want to go just in between there into the chain 1 space. Now after you've done sort of a row, it's going to be really easy to see where you've got to go. It's just like getting used to something that you haven't really done before. So to change change colour, so we're adding our new colour in. What we're going to do is just put our hook into that chain 1 space down here. We're going to put our colour on, pull through, and we're just going to pull it up like so and do a chain 1. You can pull down a little bit at the back, and that's our first stitch. Okay, so chain 1, working to the left of the next double crochet. We're going to double crochet, so that's the double crochet to the left in between that stitch and that double crochet, putting our hook there and working a double crochet. Chain 1, double crochet to the left of this stitch, so it's here into that chain 1 space. It actually sounds harder than what it is. So all you've got to concentrate is that row below here, this pink row, to the second pink row, that's our double crochet, and you're working to the left of that before that stitch here. So see that? So yarning over, going into there. Now if you've already done the brick stitch hat, I will put the link to that one below as well. You probably already know what you're supposed to be doing. So we've done a chain 1, going into there, chain 1, going to the next double crochet to the left of it, and your hook should be pretty easy to get in that space next to that stitch, because you've got a chain 1 space, you've got like a bigger opening. So if you go like that, you can actually see the big hole. Because we've worked that stitch over, it's kind of hard to see. So as we're going around, you'll see the brick stitch starting to form. On the brick stitch hat, I change colours every 3rd row, but I thought I would do something different and see what it looks like every 2nd row. So we're going to repeat this around, and this row that we're doing now is what we do for the remainder of the bag for the brick stitch pattern. It was just those first 2 rows, just slightly different, just to set us up so we can go along. So I'll meet you back at the beginning. So I'm back to the beginning of the row, and I just discovered an easier way to join. Slip stitch into this space here. Okay, don't make it really tight because it might pull too far over, but that means we were already slip stitched into that space. So that looks alright, doesn't it? Yep. So now we're going to double crochet to the left of that stitch. Okay, so that chain one space sticks out really well there. So yarning over, going to the left of the stitch and making a double crochet. I don't know why, but this first one always gives me grief. Don't know why. Chain one, working a double crochet into the chain one space. Now is that chain one where you've got to put your stitch, the chain one space, is it being easier to find now because you've done a few stitches? So to the left of the green one, so there. Can you hear that fly? It is extremely frustrating. I've tried to chase it around the house to get it outside, and now it's just going to video bomb the whole time. I don't like to use fly spray if I don't need to. So into there, chain one, and just be careful. See how that strand slipped off there? Just be careful of that. Into the chain one space. Okay, this fly is really annoying me now. We live out in the countryside, or in a forest, or however you call it, and we get the big, we call them bush flies, and this time of year it's March flies, and they're really big and really noisy. And you can guarantee as soon as you open that front door, one's going to fly in. I swear they just stand out there getting ready to fly in the doorway. Did I do a chain one there? Yep. Okay, so we're going to work that around until we get back to the beginning. I've worked my 2 rows and I'm going to slip stitch into that space there. And I'm going to change colour. So for as many rows that you want to do, you just continue on with the pattern, and then I will show you how to add an edging so that these holes join up. But in a bag, these holes might actually come in handy for a drawstring or something like that, or a piece of ribbon. That would actually look really nice with a piece of ribbon. So that's what I've got so far. It looks like some little funny hat. Well, it basically is a hat. It's just we're going to make it into a bag. Okay, so continue on until you've got as many rows as you need. I'm probably going to do, how many colours have I got? I've got 4 or 5 colours, so I'll probably do a couple of rows of each. And we'll get on to the remainder of the bag section. Here we go. So I have finished off the amount of rows that I want to do, because I've got pink, green, blue, white, blue, green, pink. So I've just repeated the colours that came up and then repeated them backwards. Now, we can have this as our drawstring, like the holes for our drawstring, which is what I'm going to do. But if you want to fill in the holes here and add different handles, I will put links below in the description box on how to do different handles. I've got a couple of bags that you can adapt the handles to this pattern, depending on what size bag you've made, of course. What handles are going to suit your project. So to fill in, I'll use a different colour so you can see it easy. To fill in the gaps or the holes, well, the goals, which is what I was about to say, mix the 2 words together. You're going to join in your yarn, so putting your hook through the top of the double crochet, just pull through and work a chain, half double crochet into the double crochet, and double crochet, but instead of going down into the chain 1 space, we're going to work into the top of the double crochet here. So working a double crochet, half double crochet into the next stitch, a double crochet down into the next down here. And see that takes away the big hole that we've got there. So you can work that all the way around. You could work more rows of half double crochet after that and adapt different handles, but for this project, and I'll put a few links below to any bag tutorials that I have. For this project, we're going to actually use these holes here as the eyelets for our drawstring. Now for your drawstring, you could use the I-cord. I have a video how to crochet an I-cord. That's quite cool. It comes out nice and thick. But for this video, I'm just going to make a chain. So I'm just going to make my slip knot. Excuse me. And then we're just going to make a chain. Like I said, I've got a lot of different bag patterns with all different handles, and I haven't got one that just uses a drawstring, so that's why I'm going to use it on this one. It's the easy version. Of course, you can change it up as many times as you like. I'm just giving you ideas. So I'm just going to do a few chains and then I'll show you, and I'm sure you probably already know how to do this, but so I'm just going to make a chain. I will complete it off camera, and then I'll sew in that end, of course, but sometimes I actually leave the end because I think it looks kind of cute. I chop it off a little bit though, and then we're just going to weave it through the eyelets that have been created from that last row. You could thread it how you like. You could skip a couple of stitches if you wanted to. Okay, so make your chain as long as you need it for your handles, and then we can make the thread the strap through, and that's pretty much it. I'll show you two different ways to do your handles. You can have one drawstring, and I'll show you that you can also do two. So for the one drawstring method, you'll thread it through all the way. But if you want to put two drawstrings in there, you're going to leave a few holes vacant at the end. I've just tied that together so that when we have our other chain, we can thread it through those holes. So I've got my other chain. I haven't tied this one together, and what you're going to do is thread it through. So you're going to thread the end that way, so the end's coming out over the back here. So you're going to thread it through. There's a number of different ways you could thread it through, but you just pick the one you like. So we're going to thread it through. I'm just going the same holes that I did on the previous chain. Just going to quickly go around. And what you want to do is, where the chain's coming out the other side, you're going to make sure that, so it's here, make sure it's at the halfway point, and then pull that chain out like that, and then go back around to the other one, and then thread this one and do the same thing. Oops, wrong one. I'll just leave the camera going so we can do it together. Alrighty, so let's make sure that matches. There's all these chains everywhere. Okay, so I've got one too many there. And that needs to go in there. Alrighty, so see how, it's hard to show you, see how the straps line up on either side. Yep. Now, this is the one I haven't tied together, so I'm just going to tie that together. I basically just tied these little ends together. Come on, there we go. And then I'll just cut those off. I think it gives it a cute effect with little bits on the end, but of course you can sew them in if you want to. And then when we pull each chain, with a bit of luck, woohoo, it gathers at the top. How cute. Such a cute bag, and if that was a lot bigger, that'd look really cute too, wouldn't it? Cute little gift bag, great for a little girl or boy, because it's very colourful. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe, as there will be plenty more videos to come. Share your creations on our Facebook page. There's lots of people over there that have made excellent creations as well. If you want to check out more of my videos, you can either click on my username down below the video. That will take you to the rest of my videos on YouTube. But I also have a website as well where all my videos are listed. And if there's any free written patterns that go with my videos, that's where you will find them. If this video has a free written pattern that goes with it, I will put the link in the description box below the video. All the important information that you need is in the description box below, so please check that out. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I think it's really cute. As you see, I've just got to sew in my ends. But until next time, happy crochet.